Is Max Verstappen considering leaving Red Bull? This explosive question has left helmet Marko, the experienced advisor to the Austrian team, feeling rather uneasy. And let's face it, folks, when an 82-year-old veteran like Marko starts publicly expressing his concerns about exceptional loyalty, it's a sign that the temperature is higher than soft compounds in Monaco at 40 degrees Celsius. Let's analyze the details that are shaking the Formula One paddock to its core. The four-time world champion has a guaranteed deal with Red Bull until 2028, but Marko has made a statement that should set off all the warning lights in Milton Keynes. According to the Austrian consultant, if the team fails to provide a truly competitive single-seater for the innovative regulations of 2026, Max may genuinely rethink his choice to stay. And when we say rethink, we are talking about a possible tremendous transformation that would completely shake up the entire political and competitive organization of contemporary Formula One. But wait, because there is much more to this complex narrative than meets the eye in the paddocks. Verstappen had a tactical escape clause in his contract that would allow him to be released automatically and instantly if he fell below the sacred top 3 in the Drivers' Championship before the European summer break. This sensitive clause became completely invalid and without any legal force after the Belgian Grand Prix, as Max managed to magnificently preserve his privileged position at the top of the World Championship standings. With a comfortable 28-point mathematical margin over George Russell, who is in 4th place, the Dutch driver is momentarily safe. But will this apparent security really last until the end of the current season? Now, at this point, the situation becomes truly fascinating and politically enlightening behind the scenes of the category. Marko did not waste the valuable opportunity to directly provoke Mercedes, a team that several renowned experts and veteran analysts consider the clear favorite to lead the pack when the innovative technical regulations come into effect in 2026. The consultant was frank and blunt in his words, stating that Mercedes proclaims itself the undisputed leader of the technological future, but there is absolutely no solid evidence of this. This is a clear, planned, and well-aimed provocation at the German team, which has been publicly boasting that it is fully prepared for the new technological era of the world's top motorsport category. But is Red Bull's evident confidence truly authentic or simply a well-constructed smokescreen by its advisors? The stark, raw, and indisputable reality is that the Austrian team is experiencing its most critical and problematic period since Max reached the top of the world podium for the first time. For the first time since the Dutchman established himself as dominant, they do not have the most superior and technically invincible car on the grid. McLaren, with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, along with Ferrari, now strategically strengthened with Lewis Hamilton alongside Charles Leclerc, are breathing threateningly down the necks of the current World Constructors' champions. This creates absolutely colossal psychological, technical, and organizational pressure for the fast-approaching 2025 season. And here we find the central and most dramatically relevant aspect of the issue surrounding Max's future. Verstappen has never competed for any other team in Formula One during his meteoric and victorious career in motorsport. His entire impressive sporting journey, all his memorable historic triumphs, all his world titles have come exclusively with Red Bull Racing since the beginning. Marko made a point of emphasizing this emotional aspect in his interview, calling Max an important and completely indispensable member of the Red Bull family. But even the most cohesive and traditional families can be deeply frustrating when high expectations are not properly met, right? What makes this situation even more elaborate and strategically unpredictable is the almost cinematic timing of events on the Formula One calendar. 2026 officially marks the beginning of a completely revolutionary new regulatory era, with profound and structural changes to hybrid engines and the aerodynamics of race cars. This is precisely when the cards will be completely reshuffled on the competitive playing field, and any team could surprisingly come out ahead of the fierce competition. Red Bull is investing all its technical and financial chips in accelerated in-house development, including taking full responsibility for manufacturing its own power units for the first time in the team's history since its inception. But what if this risky bet goes completely wrong? What if Mercedes is actually right about its future technological supremacy? What if Ferrari finally manages to bring all its historic pieces together and create an absolutely winning technical package? What if McLaren maintains its impressive upward trajectory of recent months? These are many simultaneous uncertainties for a driver who is completely accustomed to dominating virtually every race weekend in the last 4 consecutive years of world titles. Marko has openly admitted that there is a real and concrete risk that Max will completely rethink his strategic position in the sport that made him famous. According to him, it makes much more commercial and sporting sense for the Dutch driver to stay on temporarily, carefully observe how the technical situation develops, and if Red Bull fails to be competitive in the new era, reconsider his decision calmly and maturely. It is a smart and mature strategy, but also extremely dangerous for a team that has literally built its entire organizational future around its absolute and undisputed star driver. The indisputable reality is that Verstappen is in an absolutely unique position in world motorsport. At the age of 27, he has already won an impressive 4 consecutive world titles and has at least another 5 or 6 years of his career ahead of him at the peak of his physical and mental abilities. He can afford the luxury of choosing exactly where he wants to compete, and all 10 teams on the current grid would do financial hikes to have him driving their lead cars next season. The loyalty that Marko so highly praises and values could be severely tested if Red Bull stumbles in the critical transition to 2026. And let's be honest, in modern Formula One, loyalty is a sentiment that tends to last exactly as long as positive results consistently appear on race weekends. When the car simply isn't competitive, even the most solid and long-lasting relationships begin to crack irreparably under the pressure of results. Marko's seemingly casual statement reveals much more than he would like to admit publicly to journalists. It shows a genuinely concerned team, an experienced leadership that knows full well that its greatest competitive asset could slip away for good if it fails to maintain the historic level of technical excellence that has characterized Red Bull in recent years of absolute dominance. What do you think of this delicate situation? Will Max Verstappen really consider a radical team change if Red Bull fails to deliver a winning car? Leave your detailed opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any hot news from the world of Formula One.